Hey, it's Marthea Pitts, the MSW coach. And we're going to talk today about, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why now is the time for you to job search. And I'm reading my paper, but give me a moment to pin a comment. And we're going to jump into this conversation. Hey, your healing insight. How are you? Hey. As you enter the room, drop in the chat and tell me where you are logging in from. And I'm pinning a comment. We're going to get started. I'm going to be breaking down 3 reasons why now is the time that you need to be job searching. When you have a job, when you have a stable income, when things are going well, I want to be breaking it down. So drop in the chat where you are logging in from. And we are going to get started. Okay, Kim is great. Glad to be here from Palm Beach County, Florida. I love it, Kim. You know that's my home, where I'm born and raised. So we're gonna get started. I'm just pinning a comment. For those who are coming in, drop what city, state, country you're logging in from that you're comfortable with, and then we're going to get started. But I want to talk about, because what I've been seeing this for the longest, but I want to talk about like the biggest mistakes that I see specifically top performers making in their career, which really does you more harm than good. So let's see who's in the room. Okay. Oh, please. I hope y'all don't pass out. I got y'all standing up on my lamp over here. But drop in the chat and tell me where you're logging in from. And y'all did. Drop in the chat and tell me where y'all logging in from. For those who don't know me, my name is Marthea Pitts. I'm known on the social work streets as the MSW coach. And I help social workers make the pivot from case management work to macro social work jobs. As of today, since I've been officially keeping count, I have helped well over 150 social workers land macro jobs in completely unrelated areas of work. So what that looks like is usually when people find me, they're like, I've had 5, 10 plus years, even 20 some years of experience as either a school social worker, a clinical social worker, and I want to do policy related work, right? Everyone who finds me always says that, but ironically enough, the people who work with me don't even end up in policy, and they end up in completely unrelated areas of work. They're not doing anything that's medical, mental health, clinical related. It's just how it ends up, because what they find out as a result of coming through my career coaching program is that they weren't really passionate about that thing specifically. They thought they were, because those were the only jobs that they have historically had in the past. So I am the person who really helps you reinvent your social work career. And I'm like, you don't need another degree. You don't need any more experience. You don't need another certification. You can use the experience, the case management, direct practice, clinical experience, insert your thing that you already have along with the degree that you already have to get the job that you want. And those degrees, it can be a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, right? Because what I teach you is essentially how to go out and find the real job opportunities that you want, as opposed to waiting on them to float across your screen. So we're going to jump in today around why now. Right now is the time you need to be job searching. The time where you're like, my job is good. I'm making good money. I'm happy in my job. You need to be searching. And I'm going to explain 3 reasons why. Okay, so it's from Delaware. I love it, Delaware. Have we ever had somebody in the building from Delaware? You might be the first one. I just finished eating me a salad, so my apologies. But okay, so let's jump into it. I want to talk about the 3 reasons why now is the time to job search. I have my notepad. I wrote out a whole agenda for y'all so I would not forget about what I wanted to talk about. So the first reason why now is the time for you to be job searching, when you have a job, when you have a stable income, when things are going well, that's the first reason. It's because you have a job. It's because you have a stable income. The biggest mistake that I see top performers who are really, really good at what they do, the biggest mistake that I see them make is waiting until they are burnt out. waiting until they are to a complete point of no return, right? And so why I say now, when your job is good, you know when things are going good. And for many of us, we know when we are quickly approaching, like, okay, this may be a potential area that I need to look out for. Things are kind of switching up in my organization. We have new leadership. Maybe your workload is increasing. And you as a social worker know how to identify those telltale signs. Like, okay, it's quickly getting ready to go in a different direction where things may not be as comfortable for me here. Right? And so I just want to say, like, that could be your situation, or it could be that you're at a point where you're like, I'm bored here. Right? I'm not being challenged. Or it could be when I hit apply on my MSW degree application or my BSW degree application, I wanted to be doing more. I came here because I couldn't find another job, and you're like, I still have dreams. I still have desires, aspirations of doing more, impacting change in a different way, right? So when you have a job is the time when you need to be looking for another job, right? It's a time where you need to really be sitting in dedicated time and space to figure out, what is it that I do want to do? Why did I not do what I said I wanted to do when I went and got this degree the first time? And how can I get in alignment with that? The biggest thing, and I'm going to keep repeating this, is to wait to start looking for a job when your back is up against the wall, right? That is the worst time. Why? Because you were so stressed out from either not having a job, you're so stressed out from being burnt out, which leaves you pessimistic about everything. So you're not going to have the level of optimism to really support your job search. Being burnt out leads you to not having a lot of physical energy, right? So you're going to be too tired to even invest the time in your job search. So I always say, I really want you all to reframe the thinking around looking for a job. You should always be scanning the job market to see what opportunities exist for you out in the world when things are going good. The second reason now is the time to job search essentially piggybacks off of what I just said. Maybe you've been in your job longer than 5 to 10 years and you want to do more. You've gained all of the experience. The biggest mistake you can make, and I've been seeing this a lot lately with social workers who find me because I've been specifically paying attention to it, is that social workers are sitting in jobs that they don't like or jobs that they clearly have outgrown for 10 plus years. That's a long time to stay in a job where you can tolerate it, but you've clearly outgrown it, right? And a sign that you clearly outgrown it, I'm just going to use some real world examples. Maybe your supervisor used to be your teammate, or like a newer teammate. You train them and now they're your supervisor, and they've essentially come in and bypassed you through the ranks, and you're still in your entry level position, and you have a deep interest in like taking on a bigger role, but for whatever reason you're still stuck in the entry level job. Another sign is that maybe you come in and you get your job done like nothing. That's another thing that I noticed, like a real thing. Social workers who have 5 to 10 plus years of experience, you are so good at what you do that you do it without thinking, right? It's like second nature. That is a sign that you're not being challenged, where you can do the job without even thinking about it, especially in case management roles. And one of the things that I see with top performers is that because you all are so good at what you do, it is a potential gateway to being abused in the workplace. Because your employer knows that you are a rock star, they know that you are a superstar, they know that you are great at what you do, and you do it with excellence, and you do it so fast, you're so efficient, that they will just keep piling things on you. They will add more responsibilities. And next thing you know, you're under this ton of things that you're required to do, and you're either not being compensated for those additional duties, or you may not be have the capacity to do it, because now you look up, you're doing the job of 3 people when they hired you to do the job of 1 person. So staying in jobs way too long, longer than 5, 10 plus years, really can backfire on you. And this is why I'm like, you want to start actively making strategic moves to get you a different job before you even get there. Because that's just the natural cadence of those types of jobs. They're going to overload you at work, especially when they see that you are dynamic at what you do. So, and as a way to be proactive in your career, you want to assure that you don't hit a roadblock, that you don't hit any like bumpy roads on your career path that can potentially lead you to being abused in the workplace, burnt out, overworked, insert your thing. And again, this goes back to the bigger conversation where what I've been seeing over the last several months is that top performers are staying way, way, way too long. Way too long in those entry-level jobs, and it is damaging you all tremendously. It's impacting your career confidence because you're being abused. It is leaving people like with a lot of bad experiences that they can't even really talk about because they've been so abused over and over and over again. And it's like, you should have left years ago. When they first started adding those, when the first person left and they split up the job duties and gave them to you, you should have started looking at other jobs then, right? But you stayed. And then the next person on your team leaves. And then they split up the job duties and give it to you, and you don't get any compensation, you don't get a promotion, you don't get a raise, you don't get anything. You just get more duties, more requirements, and you stayed. I see a comment. Hi, following your advice, I applied for a position that's not the usual direct service work that I do, and so far I'm enjoying the new macro level work that I'm doing. Oh, okay, Pacific, I love it. So you got a macro job following the advice. That's what I tell y'all. It works. Let me screenshot this. See? I love when y'all come back and tell me, because so many people don't, but that's okay. But I love when you do. I love it, Pacific. Send me your real name in my DM so I know. I won't shout you out, but congratulations. And give me a little information about your new macro job so I can celebrate with you. But that's the thing. You all stay too long, okay? So, in reason number 3, your personal life may be shifting. Right? I know a lot about y'all, and I ain't never met you, but I've been studying it for the last 4 years. And what I know is that many of you are in your like early to mid career point in your career life journey, right? Which means that you're not brand new social workers. Every now and again, I'll get a brand new social worker that follows me, but the people that follow my work, that engage with my content, for the most part, have been working at minimum 5 to 10 years. It could mean that you had a whole different career life before coming to becoming a social worker. That's counted into the 5 to 10 year mark. So with that, your life will be taking a shift, your personal life, right? You may not have like the patience that you had before to see 60 people on your caseload. Now you're like, I can barely tolerate 30 of them because I've been doing this so long. My patience is wearing thin. Or maybe in your personal life, maybe it's like your priorities have shifted. Before you were eager to do a 24/7 on-call job, and now you're like, I don't want to go out in the cold weather. I don't want to be out in anyone's hurricane or anyone's snowstorm. I want to be home on the holidays. I don't want to do all of those other things that I did early on in my career, right? Your priorities are shifting because of the point where you are in your career journey. Another thing is maybe the people you care for in your personal life has shifted. Like maybe I know a lot of y'all are pet parents. So maybe you got a new pet. Maybe you had a new baby. Maybe now your siblings or your family members are living with you and you're caring for them. Maybe you have friends in the home with you who you all have y'all just keep passing out, my apologies. You all now have a supportive system like set up, and you want to be there with your friends and family more. So in order to do that, you can't be running out all times of the night to go to work and be at the hospital until midnight or traveling up and down the highways on weekends doing home visits. You want to be home with your family and enjoying the things. So that is a sign. That's a reason While now is the time for you to job search, because your life, your personal life is shifting. Your personal demands and requirements are shifting, and you can't dedicate like what you were doing before in your job. So drop a 1 in the chat if those made sense as to the 3 reasons why now is the time to job search. If you don't take anything else away from this conversation, I really want you all to understand, stop waiting. I'm pausing for a reason, because I want you to carry it with you in your pocket. Stop waiting until you are at the point of no return. You missed all of the glaring red flags. You missed them. You ran right through them. I can even give you some earlier signs. The minute you have to start neglecting yourself to do your job, that's an early red flag. So all of those missed lunch breaks, all of those missed 15-minute breaks, all of those times where you came to work sick because you were afraid of who's going to take care of your caseload, those are early warning signs that you are quickly working your way to the point of no return. You have a choice. They just saw Pacific say they got a job from the stuff I've been saying on the internet. I don't get on here and just be talking about stuff. It really works. But I'm also here to bring awareness to you all that you have choices. You have choices, regardless of what it feels like, even when bills are due, even if you've been in your job for 10 years and you're like, how could I? Because another thing that social workers love to tell me, OG social workers, is, Marthea, my age. Oh my goodness, I can't stand to hear that. Like, your age have nothing to do with getting a job, because your experience is what gets you the job. Right? There's ways to minimize potential biases, but aside from all of that, when you are really good at what you do, employers will want you. You just have to find a strategy to get before them and start verbally explaining to them what your value is. And that's the biggest struggle for social workers to do, because you do so much. You don't know what is valuable to your potential employer that you want to target. So 3 reasons why now is the time to job search is because you have a job, you have a stable income, you have been in your job way longer than 5 to 10 years, you have the prerequisite early entry level work experience that you need. We already know you have the education. And another reason is maybe your personal life requirements, demands are shifting. Right? Before, you could go and work 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 jobs. And now you're like, I want to slow down some. I don't want to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. I just want one job that will pay me more than enough to live on. Your priorities are shifting. And so when those things happen, you want to start paying attention to them early and start looking for jobs. Another big thing that I hear from social workers is that, well, not even just social workers, because I work with other professions too, is the belief that you have to stay in a job until retirement. That is an outdated belief, right? There used to be a way, like in our parents' generation, maybe the generations before that, because my mom was real young, like the generation before that, but that is no longer the standard. Actually, people in very high-ranking positions, especially like CEOs, they are notorious for job hopping. Go look at your favorite CEO's resume. They move on average from one position to another before they landed their first CEO position 1 to 2 years. They were in nothing longer than 2 years. So job hopping is a strategy if that's something you want to tap into, but I'm not even talking about job hopping. I'm talking about making certain that you are in jobs that are holistically supporting you. And so in order to do that, and in order to say, okay, this is really what I want to do. I want my work to look this way. I want to work on this issue. You're going to have to use that time now while you have a stable income, while you have a reliable job, to start making moves in that direction. Because if you wait until the point of no return, when you're burnt out, don't have a job, where you're too tired, all of the things, what will happen is you will just end up settling for the job available rather than spending time to get the job that you want, which takes steps. It takes a strategic process. It doesn't happen in one day. We all know, if you be real honest with yourself, the only jobs you ever got without like a whole lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of hassle, was those direct practice jobs. They hire you because they need bodies and you have the credentials. But when you are moving in a different realm of work where there are other competitors, they don't care about all of that. So it takes a strategic process to really make yourself the top person, on not just on paper, but in an interview. And those are all things that you now have to learn. It's like you're almost like a newborn baby in the career life, because social work land is a completely different area of the job market. It's always going to be in high demand, direct practice jobs. But the types of jobs I help people get are highly competitive. Other master degree holders are going for these jobs. That's why in my career coaching program, I help you all establish yourself as an expert in your respective area of interest. And again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier because I know a lot of new people are coming into the room. Just because you have done one thing in your work life before does not mean you have to do that in your future career. So an example is, I have social workers right now that I'm working with inside of my micro to macro career accelerator who are heavy clinical therapists. That's all they've ever done. But they have dreams, deep desires to do marketing, to do content creation for Fortune 500 companies. And I'm strategically helping them find those opportunities and compete for those opportunities. So that's where I'm different. Right? My career coaching is centered around helping you blend the things that you really want to do into your career, and helping you and teaching you how to go out there and get those opportunities. But also the biggest barrier, because the process works. We just had somebody say they got a job from just my free content. My free content, right? My paid clients, they get even more, right? But what I was going to say was, what really helps them is the fact that I have a whole framework where I teach you how to blend the things that you love into your career, how to be more proactive, how to build your brand, how to market, how to how to verbally translate your experiences to non-social work employers, how to find those opportunities. And this is what I was going to say. But one of the biggest things, the hardest things for a lot of social workers to do is to unlearn a lot of what they learned before working with me. But it's possible, right? We've had over 150 social workers land macro jobs. They win every day. But I always tell people that, so you don't think that, oh, my program is done for you. I'm not writing anyone's resume. I teach you how to write your resume because it's a life skill. You'll need it forever. And it's a process. So it's a lot of encouragement and support and a lot of transparent communication around, it's going to be a process. It's going to feel hard because you're not used to working that hard to get a job. You could apply and people see your credentials and they're just opening the doors for you. But for these jobs, you may have to work a little bit harder, which may be, you might have to put in to sit down and spend some time on your cover letter. You may have to sit down and spend some time job searching. But in the end, if you stick to the process, and if you're optimistic about the process, which is huge, which only happens if you're not burnt out, it works. Right? We have Monet, who went from working in a social service organization. She came out of her MSW degree program strictly wanting to do macro level work. She took her job thinking it was macro level work, and it wasn't. It was a social service, a local social service job. Monet is now working for one of the top philanthropic organizations in California. She's like in the top of her area of of the philanthropic field. She's good at what she does. She's in high demand. We had Asia. When she met me, she was dreaming about doing work in NCAA compliance. But she was working as a medical social worker, I believe it was. She's on my YouTube page. Now Asia, every time I open up LinkedIn, Asia is posting something where she's at athletic sports type organization. Yesterday they were at Under Armour, meeting with the leadership there, talking about programs for youth development in sports, right? So I share those things to say that you can blend whatever you want. You can get whatever job you want, but it's going to take a little time. It's going to take a process. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take the 3 C's: clarity, confidence, and consistency. And the best time to do that is when you have a job, not when you are racing against the clock to pay your light bill and your rent or your mortgage, or you're burnt out and you're like, I need to leave my job tomorrow. That's not the time to come in my program. The time to come is when you have a job. Another person, Kendall, I've been posting Kendall over the last 2 days. Kendall landed a macro job in 30 days. I gave Kendall to play. The first week, she landed 2 interviews. The 3 following weeks after that, she had a job offer. She had went on a series of interviews in those 3 weeks after that and had landed a job offer. But one thing that I could say about Kendall was that while working with me, I had helped her get extreme clarity on what she wanted to do. She wasn't applying to a bunch of unrelated jobs. She was very targeted in, I want my work to center around children, youth, LGBTQIA plus populations. I want to ensure that they have holistic supports to develop into whole human beings. That's what we wrote out for her. And that's exactly the job that she got. Right? So she had she was very crystal clear on what she wanted to do. So she had clarity. She had confidence, because also when you receive coaching from me, I'm working with you on your confidence, but we also have an in-house confidence coach, a career confidence coach, who comes in and helps people inside of my Career Accelerator program to build the internal confidence that you need. Because I always say, I'm going to teach you what you need to know to hit apply. And my expectation is that you're going to hit apply on the job. I don't want to be sitting and talking and going back and forth about, well, Marthea, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. I'm shy. No, we're going to hit apply. You said you wanted this job. Let's hit apply. You meet the qualifications. Hit apply. So in order to help you all through that, I have an in-house career confidence coach who's really good at what he does to help you all build the internal confidence. Because I will show you, you already have the experience and skills. You already know what you're doing. You already have your receipts. The people are looking for you. Look at this job description. I teach you how to read the job description. But for many of you all, it's the fear. Fear. I call it confidence. But it's fear. Fear being big. Fear being seen. Fear of moving into larger spaces. Fear of making more money. Fear of outshining your friends, family. And I'm not talking because I read this in the books, because I went through this same stuff. Right? And the dozens of other social workers that I've helped, they have experienced the same thing. So Kendall I was working on her with clarity. I was working with her on confidence. Also, confidence is built by building your knowledge about your area of expertise. Right? The more knowledgeable you become about your thing, the more confidence you will build, right? That's how I increase confidence in people, by teaching you how to build your knowledge, your subject matter expertise. Because when you know what you know, that leads to increased confidence, right? That's why a lot of people feel not as confident in their career, because they are doing work that they're not really interested in. Yeah, you could tell people that you are. Like I do this and I do that. But deep down within, you dream about other stuff. You look at other people's careers and you fantasize and daydream about doing that. A lot of y'all, and I'm going to say it with confidence, a lot of you all like to try to sell people that you are happy in your career and you're not. Because you think that's all you can do. But you can do more. Right? So Kendall had clarity. She had confidence. And the last thing that she had was consistency. Everything I asked Kendall to do, she did. She's an introvert. I'm an introvert. Personally, in my personal life, I gave Kendall the challenge in week 1. I want you to find an event, an industry event to go to and start hanging around with the people in your respective area of interest. It cannot be a social work related event. That's the other thing, and I'm getting ready to get on one. Y'all hang around too many social workers to say that you want to go into the public health space, to say you want to go over into business, to say you want to go into the education space. You need to start hanging out with those people. All right? So Kendall, I gave her that challenge. She found an event and she went. She met people. She learned how they were talking, how are they moving. She introduced herself. So she came back. She said, okay, I found the event. I went to the event. I gave her another play. I said, I want you to do this in week 2. She did it. It landed her 2 different macro social work interviews. Essentially, she didn't say it in the podcast episode, but she had a bidding war. The people were competing for Kendall. And she did all of that in 30 days. Now, she's an exceptional case, just like all of the other people on my page, because everyone is different. I don't guarantee employment. But the thing that I want to emphasize is that they had the 3 things: clarity, confidence, and consistency. They trusted the process. Right? I can say that about everybody that comes through my program. They trusted the process. And it worked for them. If it worked for them around getting clarity around what they wanted to do. I've had a lot of people who come through my program just to learn, what else can I do in the world other than what I'm currently doing? I have people who come. Cynthia, she's an international macro social worker now. She came through my program just with the goal of learning how to career plan, how to effectively plan for the goals that she had set for herself. And it has paid off for her tremendously. 30 days, I think it was 40 days after she went through cohort 2, she was at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. Right? From working in a social service organization in Texas. Her goal was to do international level work. Within 30 to 45 days of working with me, she was sitting at United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, serving as her organization liaison. Sitting behind the desk with all of the flags and all of the things amongst other representatives from different countries. So, but again, they had the 3 things that you get through the program. But you also have to bring the consistency part. And in order to bring the consistency, the 3rd C, you have to ensure that you are in a whole space. You can't be burnt out. You can't be racing against the clock to pay your mortgage. You have to be in a place where, okay, my job is good. My money is good. I can focus on just my career. So those are the 3 reasons why now is the time to job search. If you're like, oh, I'm just going to wait. Or if you think that, oh, I need to wait until I don't have a job. Wrong. It's too late. You should have started a long time ago. And another reason you want to start now while you have a job, is to maintain your competitive edge. How many of y'all have seen someone at your job who was there for 20 years? And you're like, oh my gosh, you've been a supervisor at this same social service organization for 20 years, the same position, you ain't never moved. Those people are no longer competitive in the job market, because they have gone through so many different changes in the workforce in that same role. They have not experienced anything outside of their organization, yet alone just even outside of their department. They only know one way of work. Their value is limited that they can add to an organization. Right? So when you are a top performer, you want to be maintaining your competitive edge. And how you do that is, even if you stay within your organization and move from one unit to another, you're gaining a new skill set. You're gaining a new set of experiences. Maybe on this side of the house, you were working with children. Now on this side of the house, you're working with adults. Maybe on this side of the house, you were working with community organizations. And this one, you're working with education institutions. You're at least getting an expansive breadth of experience. But when you stay in the same job for 20 years, It's hard to move out of that. And I see that every day with somebody I used to work with years ago. They have been in that role for years, and now they are finally trying to move, and they are catching it. And you don't want to be like that. You want to maintain your competitive edge, and you want to be strategic about your career moves. So registration, I went on a tangent. I clearly have left the agenda. But if you are just watching this, catch the replay, because I was talking about 3 reasons why now is the time to job search. When you have a job, when you have a stable income, when things are going well in your career, this is the time, because it's going to take time. This Sunday, registration for cohort 15 of my group career coaching program is opening. If you want to attend, if you want to come to our Sunday coaching call just to see what it's like to be coached by me inside of the community, it's free. What you can do is send me the word event, and I'll send you the information you need to schedule a chat with me, and then you can get a free invite to come on Sunday just to observe what one of our Sunday coaching calls are like. Last Sunday, we had 2 people come and say they got 2 macro jobs. I never know what people are going to come and share what their win is for the week. So they surprised me last week with 2 wins. All right, so we celebrate a lot. We celebrate a lot of wins. We celebrate people getting macro interviews. We celebrate macro job offers. 2 people got 2 last week. I don't know what they're going to come with this Sunday because it's not planned. It's not strategically planned out. They just come and share what the win is. So you have an opportunity to come to see what our community is like, what it's like to receive coaching from me, what types of things we work on in our coaching calls, right? And we are in the midst of a lot of good stuff right now. So this Sunday will be jam-packed. So if you want to come behind the doors and see what our community is like, send me the word event. I'll send you a link to schedule a chat with me, and then you can get an invite to come. But I'm going to end there because I got some work to do. But really, if you don't take anything else, make certain that you stop waiting until the point of no return. Y'all have a good night. Happy macro career planning. Bye.